You don't want to turn your back on your enemy.
Well, then you probably shouldn't make promises about defending people you can't fulfill.
Well, that is true.
Oh, get ready.
The ugly cry.
The greatest cry in Gundam. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and if you're wondering, hey, haven't I clicked on this playlist before, and I've seen now 3 different people show up? Yes, we are cursed. This is a cursed channel. I have started this show 3 times now. In this year of, on average, watching 20 different shows a week, I have managed, as a channel, to finish 5 shows this year so far. Anyway, we're starting over seed again, but this time, obviously, not going to go back through 48 episodes. We're getting Lessons here, crash coursed on the compilation movies, which are 3 different movies breaking down. I think they're breaking down the original 50 episodes of the non-HD remaster into, obviously, 3 films of 94 minutes apiece, which means that they are squeezing in, they're compressing 7 hours worth of content into basically an hour and a half. So, I guess that is the introduction of why this is happening. Lessons, do you know anything about Gundam Seed?
Aside from the title, and I think you mentioned a couple of times, it's sort of a remake of 0079. But aside from that, I really don't know much about Seed, particularly.
My problem is that I probably have mentioned that a number of times, never thinking that this was going to come up. And then realizing that we were going to do this, I probably tried to avoid saying that again as many times as possible. So I can't pull back the past of things I've said. But yeah, normally, of course, you've got to know I have a board. Can't show it to you. I have to have thoughts. I just finished the first season. Can't say them. So I think the only thing to do is to jump into this, unless you want to throw out expectations or guesses or anything of that nature.
No. I mean, other than not so much if it's a remake. Why they made a remake? They just wanted more Gundam themselves. But what they're changing, what they felt that they could make better or should be different this time around, right? Because otherwise, you could have gone to 0079 and remake that, but they didn't. So
I guess the consideration would be if you remade it, but didn't tie yourself down to the previous material. Because the problem with remaking 0079 is not only do you have to become beholden to the story that you've previously written, you're kind of possibly tied down to the story you wrote after. Or if you make something new, you can kind of go whichever direction. Plus, you know that they're coming out with new Universal Century stuff. And what was it, last year or was it earlier this year? I can't remember. New Gundam Seed movie came out, so not for nothing, it seems to be doing all right.
Yeah, Gundam does fairly well across everything. Different expectations in the U.S. or North America versus Japan, etc. But overall, Gundam is, especially through Gunpla in the States, it's gotten, they're selling like crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, in the defense of Witch from Mercury, I was posting all those which Gundam series in the years that they came out, how much was the company making off of them. Because Witch from Mercury, monetarily, was fairly good for the company, even though it was getting a lot of harsh reviews online during its release, I guess. I don't know, I loved it. Yeah, no, I think the shows, I think this came out nearish to Gundam 00. And those both do well enough that they got recent movies, and I think there was that announcement for a new 00 thing. I just don't think I ever heard about anything coming out yet. It's in the same headspace now as the Macross announcement or the Symphogear announcement of, I think something was being made. Haven't heard anything new since the announcement.
I think the only thing that's going to drop this fall is another UC pure CGI stuff for Netflix. You know,
Still waiting for that live action thing. Anyway,
it's. I think it's. I'm not going to talk about it because it's spoiler territory. So
yeah. Well, anyway, I guess there's nothing else to do then but to get on into it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
本当に戦争になるなんてことはないよ。プラントと地球で。
Just
the plants.
Just realized I had it muted.
なんて意味ないと思うけど。キラもそのうちプラントに来るんだろ?
Who let this Girl Scout out here? Like classic jokes I have to keep going with. I forgot to mention I'll probably also go over some of the changes after we're done with the movie itself.
We have our Char clone, of course.
You might be surprised, actually. By which I mean you may be surprised who you would consider to be a Char clone in this.
しかしまあいいのかね。何がだ。中立国のコロニーなんかに手出してさ。じゃあ中立国がコロニーでこっそり地球軍の兵器作ってるのはいいのかよ。そりゃやっぱダメっしょ。お前らあんま待たせんなよ。
I guess I'll also ask you by the end of this, who do you think your guy is? See how off the mark I may have gotten.
I mean, we still have the Federation, but we have the plants. It seems to be a cosmic era. Okay.
I thought they were about to tell you a whole lot more information than I ever learned in the show.
Well, they just nuked the colonies, I guess.
I just realized I had to flip your camera around because I forgot about it.
So the fighting is happening on Earth.
Well, Kaohsiung is on Earth, yeah.
Also, everything looks very... Oh, hey, the laser web.
Everything looks very what? You were saying everything looks very, and then you got interrupted by the laser web.
Everything looks very clean, very, well, I guess 21st century, you know, in the sense of, like, that kind of look of very white and stark.
Something about this person in the hat might surprise you.
We have our white base analog.
Dr. Kato はここに行けと言われたんだが。
敵は2世紀だ。ナスカおよびローラ市が来る。電波妨害直前に
Oh, yeah.
スーツの発信を確認した。
Sorry, I forgot I had a theory about something.
Oh.
Early on.
ルークとゲイルはメビウスにて待機。まだ出すなよ。分かっている。いざとなれば艦は発進させる。
ラミアス隊員を呼び出せ G の搬送を開始させ。
G being, I guess, the Gundam.
ちょっと出ちゃってるんですけど。
I don't remember it being referred to it by that way before, so.
戻るとは思うんですけど。なんだ？いい線か？
I'm very much getting hit by the element of squeezing 7 hours down to an hour and a half. How fastly this is moving. I haven't had any time whatsoever to make fun of Kira's outfit. Which is all belts, by the way.
Yeah. Well, good thing they left. Otherwise, they're gonna go blown to bits.
See? Surprising, right?
Sure, like I
The
didn't
hat.
know it was a girl.
Yeah, the hat, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't tell it was a girl because of the hat.
Sure, the voice.
Well, I'm just saying, it's very funny. This show has been a roller coaster for me, so. I think I only made fun of it for like the first 5 episodes. If I was gonna get myself redrawn, I would have myself redrawn as the guy with the silver hair that you just saw a second ago. Or a minute
So
ago.
they're stealing the Gundams.
Yeah.
They do manage to steal the Gundams. Except for one, I'm guessing.
Why would you guess that?
Oh, I don't know. The hero needs a Gundam.
Oh, that's interesting.
If he is the hero.
In the show, he gets into a whole argument about them letting somebody into the shelter. So they just like skip that. Ignore me!
Oh, there's no door there anymore.
Ah, poor Rusty. 2 versions now you don't survive in. That's right, he's the Girl Scout from the flashback. I appreciate that change, though. In the original, when he's running up with a knife, it goes like all neon green, like radiation look for some reason. You ever want to know what Gundam stands for? It's very dumb. Thank God none of the other shows use Gundam as an abbreviation.
Impressive.
That was the end of episode 1.
Yeah. Are they just slaughtering civilians?
Well, they're attacking the military, which is here with the Gundams. I mean, you kind of saw that with the white base analog that you pointed out. By the way, fucking mobile suit with the Sword of Omens. Phase shift armor.
We have Frau Analog, I suppose.
You'll never guess her name.
Frau?
You're like one letter off. Or you're technically 2 letters off, but you're saying it so close.
As in Fraulein, yeah.
No, her name starts with an H.
Oh. Oh. Frau?
Haw.
Oh.
H-A-W. I've mentioned it so many times during UC how I keep getting those two people mixed up because their names are just. With the superpower of speed programming.
Don't stand there, run!
I was wondering when the daggers would show up.
Oh, he's a jet. He's getting the hell out of there.
But with a self-destruct device.
Nope.
You'll never guess what this girl's name is. It might surprise you.
Sayla? Sayla?
You're thinking way too hard. Patented crumple technology.
So the rebels have their own version of Sakus, and there's also stealing Gundams. A bunch of them, actually. I guess they're not a home country. They're like a terrorist organization or something.
I'm thrown by who you're referring to as rebels, or why.
I mean, the plant against Earth Force.
I'm glad you thought the same thing, because that's exactly how I thought about it, like in the first few episodes too.
No mention of Minovsky particles, so that's.
But we're not UC.
Yeah.
There they go. They just named the organization, by the way. It's not plants.
Zaft or whatever.
Zaft. It's also an abbreviation, by the way. Fucking dumb one. But
Yeah.
no, plants are what you call the space stations, the colonies.
Oh, okay.
お前はいつでも邪魔だなムーラフラガ。
Mula Flaga.
Ooh, Laflaga. I just called him Laflaga.
ヘリオポリスの中に
I'm very much trying to hold any explanations or point things out to the end.
Yeah.
Want you to make your own choices or decisions here.
So I take it these kids are cadets, I guess. They were training for this, and that's how he knows what's going on?
Those guys, yeah, they're wearing uniforms.
Yeah. No, but the other kids, like, the reason
no,
why
these
they know
guys
how to
are-
pilot.
No, these are
No, on the ground.
yeah, no, no, they're
How
just
do they
kids
know
in
how to
school.
But they were training to pilot this
No,
stuff?
you
'Cause
just
they
saw
were-
him reprogram the fucking thing. As I said,
Yeah.
he's got the power of speed programming.
エンジン異常なし。アークエンジェル全システムオンライン発進準備完了。
Yeah, but when they were in the room originally, he was working with some kind of power armor, and they were doing stuff like that.
The school
I like the
project.
music. Yeah.
No, because I think the guy that girl was looking for was literally their teacher.
I take it the Flash has to be like some kind of new type situation, right?
I don't actually know. I mean, I know what's going on with those characters, obviously. I don't actually know what the Flash is representing. We are speeding through so much.
Yeah.
In like the very first episode or two, there's like a bunch of guys along with that captain that you saw get blown up by the explosions. Those are supposed to be the Gundam pilots that are here for training, and they
Yeah.
fucking get blown up with everybody else too. So
強化 APSV 弾でも冗談じゃないよ
Yeah, let's open more holes on the side of the station. Yeah, that's not going to compromise the security of the station whatsoever.
I appreciate that Ramus is pointing out. No, it's too strong. It's a bit of a change.
So they get one Gundam, while the others. I'm guessing that what happens, he has to hunt down the other Gundams
こいつは
so that they don't keep them. Is that the thing?
地球軍第7機動艦隊所属
Again, I don't want to correct it because they might say stuff.
第二中域第五特務師団所属マリュー・ラミアスです。同じくナタル・バ
Did
ジ
you
ル
get it?
少尉であり
Did you get what her name is?
No.
Her name's Bad Girl. Nattery Bad Girl.
何ですか君コーディネーターだろう
Oh yeah, I know about the coordinators. Yeah,
6番コンテナだ
they're supposed to be. They basically are the new types. The coordinators are the new types of the of Seed.
要塞攻略戦でもやる
Which is
クルーゼ隊長
a poignant difference.
そんなことしてヘリオポリスは
しょうがないんじゃない
There's my boy.
自業自得です
Said I have myself drawn as him if I could change, or I could change, but I don't want to pay for it.
発進完了右抜き片パル
Olor unit. Smell you unit.
ともかく
Smell
脱出
unit.
するしかないの。
That's in Spanish.
シェルターは
Olor
入れ
means
ないの
smell.
で今はあなたたちを下ろしてあげることもできないわ。そのためには
お断りします僕たちをもうこれ以上戦争になんか巻き込まないでください
Yeah, I think we're like at episode 5 already.
あなたの言ったことは正しいのかもしれない僕たちの外の世界は戦争している
One of my early reasons I didn't like Kira,
それが嫌で
because I did the math on this,
中立のここを選んだんだ
is that his argument about not fighting in the Gundam is like 5 times as long as Amuro's
どう
arguments.
したの？
モビルスーツが来るぞ早く上がって指揮を取れ君が艦長だ
私が
専任大尉は俺だがこの艦のことは分からん
Oh, this is a weird change.
わかりました。では アークエンジェル発進準備。
In the original, they make her the captain in the hangar that they were in before,
ダメだ出られん。
ではフラガ隊員
when they were all together instead of doing it over the phone, basically.
聞いての通りよ。また戦闘になるわ。
卑怯だあなたたちは。
キラ君。
キラー。そしてこの間にはモビルスーツはあれしかなくて、今扱えるのは僕だけだって言うんでしょう。
接近する熱源1、熱門パターンジンです。
なんてこったい。拠点攻撃用の重爆撃装備だぞ。
Hey, these guys are rebels or not. These people are assholes. They're willing to kill everybody in the station because they're
I feel this is a bit of a change, too. I don't know, I kind of blame Kira for everything that's going on in the original. I don't recall them ever claiming, oh, there's a heavy bombing unit before in the original. Although, to be fair, I blame Kira haphazardly. Kira's big on dodging things that it seems like his Gundam could absorb.
操縦マニュアルでこっちへよこせ。素早い回り込めアスラン。あのモビルスーツ。
That's right, they stole it and they're already using it against you.
yeah.
Well, Miguel, you didn't try this one either. Also, pointedly, the sword isn't like a beam saber thing, it's got a back to it, like a hacksaw.
Kind of like the heat axes of the original of those Sakus.
ではどうしろと言うんです。沈められろとでも。
キラヤマト。やはりキラなのか。アスランザラ。
Yeah, this station is dead. These people are all dead. The millions who live here are gone. Well, they're escaping, I guess.
Yeah, it's the difference between UC stations. These ones seem incredibly weaker than the ones in UC, but these ones have, like, escape pod bunkers and everything built in. Whereas it seems the UC ones, you just go into a bunker, and if the whole thing goes down, you die.
I'm still probably thousands of people also died as well.
I don't know. You saw they had a lot of time to get to those bunkers before any of the fighting started. Oh wow, they just skipped over a whole bunch.
Is that her sister?
It's one of the friends from the colony. What they skipped over is that Kira finds the life pod floating in space, and it's like damaged, and they have to have a whole argument about him even bringing it aboard, so they have to take care of more people. Also, a little bit of world building. When she gets out of the life pod, she sees the Gundam, and she thinks they're on a Zaft ship, because only Zaft have mobile suits. So that's why she's initially scared. She thinks Zaft has captured their life pod.
So they're in a military preparatory school. So they were training to be in the military, even though they're supposed to be neutral.
No, he's talking about the flashback to the Girl Scout uniform thing.
Oh. These are solar collectors, or they're more plants?
Plants. These are actual plants. I feel like it's treating you like you already know stuff. Orb is like a third faction. Heliopolis was a space station of Orb.
So we have Orb, we have Earth Federation, and we have zaft.
Zodiac Alliance of Freedom. Treaty. That guy in the purple is Atherin's dad. That guy in the purple, they're all wearing purple. The guy talking.
だがその願いを無残にも打ち砕いたのは誰です。自分たちの都合と欲望のためだけに我々コーディネーターを縛り利用し続けてきたのは。これって我らは忘れない。あの血のバレンタインユニウス7の悲劇を。
Yeah, this explosion.
Uh-huh.
That you saw when the credits came up. Sorry, letting it play out.
Destruction of one of the plaps, right? That killed. This one killed everybody. I take it, or most everybody.
Yeah, that nuke hitting one of the plants. That's Janus 7. They call it Bloody Valentine. So the impetus is they didn't start this fight.
Who did though?
Well, they're claiming, yeah. Well, it's actually Earth Alliance here.
Earth Alliance, yeah.
Well, it's Earth Alliance because specifically it's made up of an alliance of a bunch of smaller factions of Earth people.
Because they're claiming the Earth Alliance was the one that started it. But did they? Oh God.
Well,
Okay.
you saw them. And that's why I was trying to let the thing play out. Because hell, I use that as the thumbnail one of the videos. Yeah, they claim that the Earth Alliance. Yeah, that's why I decided to switch from not explaining anything to trying to help. Yeah, because in this thing, they're running out of resources as they're trying to run away from Zaft. And they decide to harvest the resources of the graveyard that is Janus 7, which is floating in orbit still. So that they cut off a bunch of frozen water from it to refill their water stores, because otherwise they've been rationing.
And how many seasons does Seed have? 3? 2? 3?
2 seasons. Some extra content and a movie. Not counting compilation movies, like an actual movie that came out last year. Oh, Atherin's mother died at Janus 7 as well. So he's one of the pilots that knows the main character who stole a Gundam himself, and his dad is on the main council who was just giving that speech about never stopping the fight that they started. There's another big thing about it, but I'm not going to say anything until they reveal anything else. By the way, I will say, this is the difference between watching The Legend of Galactic Heroes the way you were watching it and watching it in D&T version. It's breakneck one way or the other. Oh, they explained that differently too. They find this pod floating around the Janus 7 wreckage. And there's a
arrow.
There's a wrecked ship nearby and a Zaft mobile suit they get into a fight with. Because she was supposed to be out on a memorial cruise for around Janus 7. as you would have found out, because her dad is also on the council and gives a whole speech about it.
あらまあこれはザフトの船ではありませんのね。
She's basically like an idol in Zaft. Oh, she's also Atherin's fiance.
Yeah.
I guess I could have waited a second. He said she's an idol. Oh, and Zaft uniforms represent your rank, the color of your uniform. Green is the lowest, red is like the elites, white is more elite. I don't know.
So Zaft seems to be. I say revolutionary. Oh, he's much smaller. I thought he was much bigger. Oh.
Yeah, no. Well, they might just skip over this, so I'm gonna say it out loud. Atherin makes the Harus. They're not like a mass-produced thing. He just fucking made them for her. She's supposed to be locked in a room, so it's surprising that she's out and about walking. Flay's racist, by the way. Also,
so there's the whole space noid, earth noid similar situation, or not?
There's a whole conversation, I think, that's missing from this about Blue Cosmos, which is supposed to be a non-coordinator group, where she says that she's not part of Blue Cosmos. The difference here from, say, Universal Century is that imagine if all space noids were new types instead of some of them. That's why I keep joking about Giran being so wrong, because Giran is just another human being, versus coordinators are all fucking supermen, apparently. And again, the internal problem here is that Kira is a coordinator and everyone knows it.
私も向こうで皆さんとお話ししながらいただきたいのに。
これは地球軍の船ですから、コーディネーターのことをあまり好きじゃないって人もいるし。
残念ですわね。
I can see why you think the Haru is far more annoying in this version.
Actually, I don't. No? You've watched Gundam 00 before, right?
Yeah.
No, I hate those fucking Haru. This one just says random shit all the time. Gundam 00 Haru says everything twice, which I find to be way more annoying.
そうですか。でもあなたが優しいのはあなただからでしょ。お名前を教えていただけます？
あ、キラです。キラ・ヤマト。
そう。
Of course, Kira also has the nickname of Jesus Yamato in the fandom, apparently.
I mean, Kira Yamato is a very Japanese heroic name, right? It's like, I am Kira of Japan, basically.
Wow, it skipped all over Artemis, which would be the Luna 2 arc, basically. Except that the people at Artemis try to steal the Gundam, or force Kira to give them the schematics of it, basically. The fight at Artemis is also where they show that a bunch of these Gundams have like special abilities.
Wing style, right?
Well, one can like cloak for like 20 minutes or something like that, so it goes invisible.
Yeah.
And the other ones have like specialties. Dude on the left there is Flay's dad. He's like Secretary of Defense or something.
わからない。僕にはまだ何も。
大丈夫だよね。パパの船やられたりしないわよね。ね。
大丈夫だよ。フレイ、僕たちも行くから。
The entire episode leading up to this, she's been excited to see her dad again, so now she's worried.
That means that's a death flag right there. I like the music.
Yeah, well, Flogga's fighter there is like the earliest example of, I guess, of gun bits that I can imagine remembering. Even though it's technically not on Gundam.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's independent flying units, sort of thing. Oh, that's right. Atherin's Gundam is a claw grab machine. See?
Your dad is dead. You know that, right?
Well, he's actually alive at the moment.
Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna survive long.
But now she can see what's going on. He said everything would be okay. Kira's too busy fucking around with Atherin and not defending anybody. Only one thing Fleda can do now. Take a hostage. He was like 5 steps from getting onto the lifeboat. And remember, Lacus isn't just a big idol in Zaft. Her dad is also part of the main council.
少尉ザフト軍に次ぐ。こちらは地球連合軍所属艦アークエンジェル。当艦は現在プラント現最高評議会議長シーゲル・クラインの令状ラクス・クラインを保護している。
何？ラクス様？
偶発的に救命ポットを発見し人道的立場から保護したものであるが、以降当艦へ攻撃が加えられた場合
War crime
クライン城に対する責任放棄と判断し、当方は自由意志でこの件を処理するつもりであることをお伝えする。
貴重な。
I've had hours of conversation about this scene.
必ずな。あっすら。
I guess he didn't rescue them.
Didn't rescue who?
What's her name? Because he was like, I'm gonna rescue her, and then we cut to him being aboard the ship and know nothing.
Oh, you mean Athrun?
Yeah.
No, that was the middle of the fight. Like, they literally said, if you attack us, you're attacking the ship with her on it. That was the threat to get the fight to finish. He really didn't. He fucked around with Athrun the whole fucking time.
I guess he couldn't just leave and the guy was gonna kill him otherwise.
Arguably, Athrun would have just had to have followed him around trying to attack him.
You don't want to turn your back on your enemy.
Well, then you probably shouldn't make promises about defending people you can't fulfill.
Well, that is true.
Oh, get ready.
The ugly cry.
The greatest cry in Gundam.
What do you mean, what's the matter?
To be fair, you hear that going down a hallway, you might want to ask first. My first guess would need the Heimlich maneuver. This boy's choking on something.
Is she that clueless? She doesn't know what happened? She was there. Wasn't she?
Yeah, remember she got pulled onto the bridge. I mean, to be fair, you don't know what he's crying about.
But she's like, oh, what's wrong?
I don't know. I've always described Lacus as a bit ditzy, so or I used to anyway. I mean, I will say I don't like her very much. It's a very complicated show. I went from hating Flay to thinking Flay is one of the most interesting characters. Your friend is a nosy Nancy.
Are they really good people? Considering he helped destroy that colony?
Doesn't... since we're going hyperspeed here, it's more played out that the Heliopolis thing is more of an accident than on purpose. They're attacking Kira and his Gundam and the White Base, and it's just like accidental shots keep going off, yeah. They're not actually bombing it to destroy it. They even have orders not to destroy it, like, don't shoot these places, they like, keep the thing together.
So he's gonna defect?
This is what I feel like every time I try to edit an episode, and I try to do those ones where you cut the, like, 20 minutes out of an episode or something. where I feel like I'm left with. This doesn't make any sense anymore. No one's gonna understand what's going on.
ナスカ級は艦を停止。イージスのパイロットが単独で来ることが条件だ。
Yeah, Rao and his ship have been chasing them this whole time, so he takes Lacus away from being a hostage and says, we'll give you her if you stop chasing us. At least for now.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work.
Well, Atherin had to come out here because, one, it's his fiancée, and two, Rao and company are actually out here looking for Lacus anyway. Politically, they can't just keep attacking them if they want to get their hostage back. It's too important of a hostage.
But if he gives it over, then they're vulnerable now. The Arrow's like, damn it, don't do this. The Arrow's the one that's smart. It's like, this is stupid, don't do this.
The mini joke at play here is that she's wearing her dress in the spacesuit. Yeah.
So that's why it's so puffy?
Yeah, but also like makes her look pregnant for some reason. So that when her and Kira are sneaking around the ship to do this, because he's not doing it with anyone's permission.
Kira, お前も一緒に来い。お前が地球軍にいる理由がどこにある？
Hasn't really been displayed a lot, but Atherin's been trying to get Kira to come back with him this whole time too, because Kira's a coordinator amongst a bunch of naturals.
友達がいるんだ。ならば仕方ない。次に戦うときは俺がお前を撃つ。僕もだ。
Because Atherin doesn't want to fight and kill his friend. He genuinely believes he belongs over with Zaft with all the other coordinators.
Magnetic boots, I guess.
お前とあの女の子の話聞いたって。あのイージスに乗ってんの友達なんだってな。
Because he's a blabbermouth.
正直言うと少し心配だったんだ。
Because nobody else knew before that Atherin was his
よ
friend.
かった。お前ちゃんと帰ってきたもんな。じゃあ俺交代だから。
So now Flay understands he spent all this time fucking around on the battlefield with his friend when her dad died.
I don't think he was fucking around. He was just trying to...
He was focused on doing one thing instead of helping everybody else that was dying. Also, you know, the assumption there that you're not fighting at your full strength to kill your best friend.
Flay. フレイ、大丈夫なのか？まだ休んでた方が。
大丈夫よ。キラ、あの時はごめんなさいね。あの時は私パニックになっちゃって、すごいひどいこと言っちゃった。
I guess they skip over the fight.
No, you saw it. Where they dropped all the water that they were bringing her, because she's on the floor crying and she's shouting all the stuff at him. That's a scene that you saw.
Did I?
Yeah. It happened right after the fight, like literally right after her dad died.
No, but I mean Flay fighting with Kira.
No, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hall was holding Flay on the floor. She was shouting up at Kira. Yeah, no, he was in the
Kira
doorway.
wasn't there.
He was in the doorway. Remember the scene where the water bottle is holding the door open and it's going back and forth, and then he's standing in the doorway and she's shouting up at him?
I guess so.
It literally happened right after the fight.
I told you they were gonna come back.
Ellie is a little girl who's been on the ship this entire time. I think she's only getting half of her actual screen time than she actually gets in the show.
Is that her sister, her daughter?
No, she's just a kid on the ship. Same way Universal Century, there's just refugees on the ship.
Oh, okay.
Specifically because of the life pod that they picked up. Like I said, they skipped over the picking up the life pod to just show the life pod on board. It's my boy Yazik. The Blitz is the one that can go camouflage mode. And it can't use its phase shift armor and its camouflage at the same time. So, you know, Star Trek cloaks. Can't have your shields up and the cloak on at the same time. A minor thing here, but also Batgirl is typically in control of the bridge when they're in a fight. That's why you'll constantly see her giving the orders. See, now, when you were asking what a Flash was before, that's more this show's thing, what you just saw.
Level up, I guess.
Well, it's Seed. I guess it looks like a seed, right?
Yeah.
My early jokes were he was busting his nut. Oh, my boy Yazik. Getting his
Why didn't he just shoot him? Or they're like, we just shot him and killed them both right there.
Don't specifically remember. Remember, we're flying through the story, so I don't specifically remember. Something was happening. I think they were in a lot of danger. Or they were retreating. Oh, something that very specifically happens when they're handing Lacus over way back when.
Yeah.
Rao actually does go to attack them the moment that Lacus is no longer on the ship, and Lacus orders him to stand down. So Rao has to stop attacking because Lacus told him to.
Are they gonna arrest Kira for being a coordinator?
That's sort of something that happens on Archangel that they skipped over, is that the moment they find out Kira's a coordinator there, everyone points their guns at him, and that's when he's like, we want you to tell us how to make things to defeat the Gundams.
しかし我々は除隊許可証？
私たち軍人だったの。
And here's where they backtrace the whole fact that they've basically been civilians fighting in a war zone. We're officially making you soldiers for the time that you spent here, and here's your discharge papers to leave right now if you want to. Let's see.
Don't lose those.
私軍に志願したいんですけど。
Because all the other friends, like, took up military positions and helped out. She didn't do jack, other than tried to take Lack as hostage. Oh, Athrun also made Birdie. Athrun made the Haros and Birdie.
そんなことは。
君のご両親はナチュラルだそうだが。
はい。
どんな夢を託して君をコーディネーターとしたのか。
Oh, so they're made. They're not naturally born?
That's not something you know a lot about when this episode happens, so... At the very least, I'm not going to give stuff away until I know the show has definitely done so. There are a lot of questions about Kira's parents at this point.
So who's really... I mean, I take it the coordinators just want to be left alone, right? And
hasn't been shown yet. There's an episode specifically, at least in the HD remaster that we had watched, about coordinator backstory or coordinator history that hasn't been shown yet. Oh, Ellie.
Uh-oh. Don't tell me she dies.
I mean, I'll tell you that she's often been shown wandering the ship, getting people like water or having difficulty carrying the water, things like that. And you just saw her go to her mother. You specifically were asking what her relationship with Flay was, which is not.
何みんないないからこれ持ってけって除隊許可証
俺たちさ残ることにしたからさ
The idea was that they gave them all their papers to say that they were volunteer soldiers this whole time, but they would use those papers as discharge papers, so they should all be getting on the ship right now. Which is why Kira was getting on the ship. But Flay decided to stay, so now they're all deciding to stay. Or Flay is actually deciding to join, so they're all deciding to stay. Give her a little speech. I don't remember him saying that. I would, but I'm floating in 0G and have nothing to touch to move.
Peace and war. To defend those that I love.
Well, that's why he refused to join, or to go back with Athrun before. There's people on that ship I have to protect.
Yeah, but we know how regular ships fare against mobile suits.
Yep. And we know Earth Forces doesn't have any mobile suits.
Except for the one.
Yeah, well, the Gundam, yeah. But then the other guys have 4 Gundams, so... I don't know how much it showed it right there, but she was standing in front of his locker. My assumption was that she was about to go out in the mobile suit herself. thinking that he had left.
Frey, なんで？
あなた行っちゃったと思ったから。私みんな残って戦ってるのに、最初に行った私だけ。だから私が。
まさか。
Oh, there we go. There, they imply it there.
フレイ、そんなバカなこと。モビルスーツなんて無理だよ。君みたいな
I don't remember him saying that. I mean, it's true though. More so, it's more impossible for a natural like you to pilot. They kind of show that earlier with Ramus. Who has a hard time piloting the Gundam, and then he takes over. Ramus is a natural, he's a coordinator.
もう逃げない。決めたんだ。しょうがないよ。この戦争を終わらせなきゃ。僕たちだってさ。
なら私の思いはあなたを守るわ。
フレ。
How is this coming off to you, this right here?
I don't know, that either she's desperate or that she actually cares about him.
There's a lot of like skipped over Flay emotion scenes where she like looks angry and mean in hallways and stuff.
Yeah.
Or when she's holding Ellie's hand saying that, oh, don't worry, he'll protect us. She squeezes it too hard and Ellie's like, ah, and runs away. So... Also, you saw my boy Yazik there with the whole fucking eye patch going on.
なんだと？
自分たちだけで逃げ出そうという気か。
敵の狙いは本艦です。本艦が離れなければこのまま艦隊は全滅です。閣下。
Really like the spacesuit design. Fully padded.
この状況でか。俺に怒鳴ったってしゃあねえでしょ。まあこのまんまズルズルよりはいいんじゃねえですか。いやけどさ。
ザフト艦とジンは振り切れてもあの4機が問題ですね。
坊主。
ストライクで待機します。まだ第一戦闘配備ですよね。
あいつ船を降りたんじゃ。
アークエンジェル降下開始。艦隊を離脱。
降下開始。期間 40%。微速前進。
So yeah, they're trying to go to Alaska right now.
Alaska base? That sounds familiar.
ハルバートンめ。第8艦隊を盾にしても足つきを下ろすつもりか。
Yeah, zaft is targeting the Archangel, so they're trying to get away from the fleet so the fleet doesn't incur more losses.
降下シークエンスフェーズ1。マスター、先陣隊列を突破。
メネラオスが応戦中。
フラが隊員。
ああ、分かってる。艦長。ギリギリまで俺たちを出せ。何分ある？
何をバカな。俺たち。
カタログスペックではストライクは単体でも効果可能です。
キラ君。どうしてあなたそこに。分かった。ただしフェーズ3までに戻れ。
And the difference between the two leaders on the bridge. Ramus is more emotional and concerned with...
Well, safety is for people, yeah.
Well, yeah, but Ramus, Bad Girl, is about the fucking fight.
Kira Yamato, 行きます。アークエンジェルより X105 ストライク、メビウス0発進。
なんだと？この状況でか。
This kid is just wants to get killed basically because he lost the last fight.
They're both in Gundams.
Yeah, but that's where the skill, the player character versus NPC comes into
to
play.
be fair, Kira had to bust a nut. Which is again, the learning joke about whatever that animation is.
Yeah.
To beat my boy Jewel.
Yeah, but he wasn't alone. He was fighting two guys at the same time.
Don't know what to tell you, man. Not gonna give up on my boy. And so long, Zellman. And goodbye, Halberton. I'd be fine if they did skip over one thing from this fight, though. And that's the thing I wish they would have skipped over. For that one moment, Yazik ain't my boy. Also, I did a whole breakdown on the animation. Frame for frame, they literally show Ellie's mother go to try to protect her from the explosion, being turned into a mass of blood, Ellie's head being ripped off of her body, like frame for frame, needlessly.
Okay, so your boy is about to get murdered badly. He should be after that, right? He's a war criminal.
To be fair, he thinks that we're cowardly soldiers running away from the fight. Oh yeah, that's something else you didn't see here. The fake, what do you call it? Criminal, military tribunal, sort of thing. Court-martial. The fake court-martial of Kira. LaFlaga and, Ramus give him a little court- oh, and Bad Girl. Give him a court-martial for when he takes, when Lacus gets taken hostage and he, releases her. And they have a little provision that taking hostages is allowed under certain provisions. Which is to say that the Geneva Conventions and war crimes and everything, this world is dark enough that they've rewritten the rules to make it you can break some of those things.
I mean, also, after that, what happened with the shuttle, I think this guy doesn't have any reason not to kill everybody he fights against. Like, oh, you're just a bunch of murderers. Okay, Kira.
No, this is where he's going through that Amuro phase now. Except, hold for it. He's getting flayed. Oh. Again, the whole thing about not seeing Flay in the background shots as much as she did during the show. Oh, that's right. She brings him the flower from Ellie from the cockpit. There is a lot of Flay emotional manipulation going on. But it's hard to tell to what degree or what end. Because she's not like getting anything out of it, and it very much seems like it's hurting her too. Oh, obviously they didn't land in Alaska. Yeah, they're in Africa right now.
I think she just wants adventure and father. That's what she wants.
Well, yeah, very much so. But I mean, it's not like.
Okay, that face wasn't very, very comforting. That face.
There's things I want to say that I can't say till like the third movie, so.
The fact that she takes advantage of him when he's so vulnerable, it's on one hand you say, oh, he wants to comfort him, but on the other one it's like
again, you're not getting like, also you're getting a lot more sex for some reason.
Yeah.
She's crying while she's doing it too.
I like those men.
Yeah, I don't say their name right. Literally, I got a comment from the last episode, because ironically, I think the last episode that went up on YouTube is this that's happening right now. The way that they're named. It looks like Bruce's, but it's not pronounced Bruce's. Also, it's like uppercase B, lowercase r, uppercase U, that sort of thing. Busting that nut.
Okay, that.
I told you, man, it's a running joke. I don't know if the show's called Gundam Seed, so clearly it must be a seed. But a nut is a seed, is it not?
Yeah.
Anyway, like I said, Flay is a decisive figure in this show. I went on that train and I felt like she was one of my... I hated her up until I found her to be one of the most interesting characters in the show. See, she's like drinking her own Kool-Aid, it feels like. I don't remember if I said it before, but this is like episodes 1 through 21. You remember her?
Oh.
Funny, because I kind of... But he was an amazing character. Waltfeld is his name. All you've seen him do so far is make coffee. They covered up a whole setup thing so that you could see Flay having sex for a little bit longer.
Okay.
There's a whole conversation about this whole area being riddled with like underground pockets of air and explosive gases and whatnot.
Natural gas.
Well, the idea was that if the Archangel had landed in the wrong spot, it could have just sunk underground. But they used that as the setup for what they did there. They set up a trap and they used the Gundam to lure it in.
Oh, now she's jealous?
So drag your wings against things, that's just a Gundam rule.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that before. Crate with a zaft logo in the background, and then a crate with a Earth Alliance logo in the background too.
I mean, they use whatever they get their hands on there if they're a rebellion, right?
Yeah. Oh, I guess. Okay, flashing back to it. One of my earliest complaints about Kira is that you don't hit Kira unless Kira wants you to hit him. Because there's been so many times somebody will go to punch Kira, and he'll just dodge, and then somebody else will get hit.
Well, for one thing, I got laid, so there's that. I got a girlfriend now.
But remember, the last time she saw the Gundam, she shouted, "Father, you betrayed us," and started crying. Whatever the fuck that means.
Maybe the weapons were meant to be for the resistance, to give them an edge. You know, Gundam wing style, but that's not what happened. He said he went over to the Air Force Alliance and gave them the weapons. You know.
Now, Waldfield's nickname is the Desert Tiger or something like that. That's why I said the Tiger's headquarters. Where's Waldo?
You notice that he's being followed?
Yeah, yogurt, of course. I have no fucking idea, by the way. This still
It's a kebab, yes.
I never had
It's
kebab.
pita. It's, yeah, you can actually use yogurt or mayo.
Blue Cosmos, by the way. The racist anti-coordinator group. Oh, there we go. She says it. I'll get ready for some good gunplay. Because that's how you use a gun, right?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't want to kill them, so.
Even though she just told him anyone that rises up against this guy is mercilessly killed.
Yeah, but it's Blue Cosmos is the one.
Again, Blue Cosmos is the group I told you about before that Flay, people ask Flay if she's a member of because she's so anti-coordinator. And all she does is deny that she's part of them.
Nope. So now they're prisoners of this guy?
No. He's thanking them for helping save him.
But he has to know that this is, who he is, right? He has to figure out that he's a coordinator too.
ドレスもよく似合うね。というか、そういう姿も実に板についてる感じだ。
勝手に言ってろ。
喋らなきゃ完璧。
そういうお前こそ本当に砂漠の虎か？なんで人にこんなドレスを着せたりする？これも毎度のお遊びの一つか？
ドレスを選んだのは愛者だし、毎度のお遊びとは？
変装してヘラヘラ街で遊んでみたり、住民は逃がして街だけ焼いてみたりってことさ。
Oh, I guess we skipped over that whole thing. He attacks a town that all of like the desert rose people, the rebels out there, their families and everything lives in. He gives them all a 5-minute evacuation window, and then attacks like the complete infrastructure and like burns the town to the ground. And there's 0 casualties because he ensures that nobody is killed in the attack. He's killing their base, not the people he's fighting. I mean, the argument could be made that you're leaving those people out there without resources or anything. They might eventually die, but he ensures that like nobody dies from the people he's attacking.
So they are prisoners. They were taken prisoners.
No, actually, he lets them go like right after that. He's making a point about who needs to die in a war and when can you finish fighting. When can you say the war is over? Also, pointedly, the only people that die because of his attack on the town are the people who chase him down afterwards to try and get revenge for the town being burnt down. Then people die because they don't have anything but like rocket-propelled trucks and things like that. We're all superhuman. I guess they're just spreading that scene out for some reason.
知ってます？バーサーカー？そりゃ何かの神話に出てくる狂戦士のことだろう？
狂戦士？
そう。普段はおとなしいのに、戦いになると興奮して人が変わったように強くなる。
That kind of feels like when I bust a nut.
なぜ同胞と敵対する道を選んだのかは知らんが、あのモビルスーツのパイロットである以上、私と君は敵同士だということだな。やっぱりどちらかが滅びなくてはならんのかね。レーダーに敵とおぼしき影。
Like I said, before this, he'd been set up as the guy who went to extraordinary means to make sure that he didn't kill innocent civilians and things like that.
対モビルスーツセット迎撃開始。ストライクスカイグラスパー発進。
来るぞ。今日こそトラを倒す。いいだ。
Yeah, those guys are not gonna live for long.
I think I
And
was
neither is
just,
she.
yeah, I think I was describing this scene for some reason because it seems like they merged them into one. That all those guys with trucks and rocket launchers, they're the revenge group for the burning down of the town, even though literally nobody died. All he did was destroy the rebellion or the renegade group's resources.
キラヤマト行きます。
Because to my memory of the actual attack, the rebel group goes out first, and then they're under attack, and then Archangel and everything goes to back them up when they find out what's happening. They don't like launch all together at once, but I could be wrong. Okay, yeah, I'm adding the R myself. Then. Ace Custom. Plus Tony the Tiger outfit. He's the Desert Tiger after all. Also, a whole Darth Maul head saber thing going on.
I told you that once they killed those innocent people, Kira was not gonna stop. But then you knew that already.
Yeah, well, it feels more like that honorable warrior stereotype.
Yeah, I know, but from Kira's point of view, once they kill the people in the shuttle.
I'm not referring to your comment. I'm just describing Waldfeld because we just left the room with him.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like this design, these Bakus.
Well, that makes sense because they're in a gravity well. Something I guess also didn't kind of get shown here is Kira having a hard time in a gravity well. They did show it when he first landed. Him having a hard time in the gravity well and him quickly adapting. Egyptian Rainbow.
I don't think Kaggle is gonna survive. She's gonna sacrifice herself to kill the tiger, basically. That's just how it's gonna go.
If I had to have anyone on suit, I think it would be Waltveld's. Like the teeth on the helmet.
Yeah.
But again, the Tony the Tiger design. I think it hasn't really been shown either. The strike has a whole power system thing. If he runs out of power by firing too many shots and everything like that, then the phase shift armor turns off too. And he like can't move and basically is unprotected.
Nice trick.
Also seems very niche.
Yeah.
Also surprisingly not shown. Yazik and I think Durka are at this fight, which is two of the other Gundams.
Oh,
sorry, those are the Gundam pilots' names, like Buster and Duel, I think, are the Gundam names. But they're having a hard time with the gravity well too, so that's why they're not really being effective.
Aisha. そんなことするくらいなら死んだ方がマシね。
君もバカだな。
なんとでも。
では付き合ってくれ。
バルトフェルドさん。
まだだぞ、少年。
もうやめてください。勝負はつきました。降伏を。
I think I'll see all the number of times Kira could have died at any point. If he got on the shuttle, he would have been killed by Yazik. If he had been shot in the head by Wallfield earlier.
Again, he keeps busting that nut.
And giving the Hikaru eyes up.
I guess getting out wasn't an option.
Well, I mean, he told her to get out earlier, and he said, I'd rather die. So...
Oh, I didn't know the Gundam was a stick shift.
Counter to what you were saying about what Kira should be feeling. Yeah. Kira doesn't actually want to kill anybody. Also, I guess this is kind of... I guess you don't get to see what the first opening was. This is the first ending, though.
I mean, I understand why he doesn't want to do that, but it comes in clash with the fact that he wants to protect people, and that a little girl got killed with her mother, right?
I'm more so... I don't know. It hasn't been a major theme yet. The Wallfield goes into the whole, as I said before, how can you end a war? Questioning. There's a lot of, it's Gundam, so obviously there's a lot of why do you fight? What do you fight for? How do you stop fighting? That sort of thing. And Wallfield is just indicating into that scene, how do you declare a war to be over? Do we have to kill everybody for a war to be over?
Yeah.
And obviously his whole, I don't want to kill people versus Kigali's indication that he is somebody who often kills people. Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be that quick, but then again, the assertion that it's going to be 7 hours of content rolled into an hour and a half, I guess it did a pretty good job. I felt like it was rushing over things way too fast on some points, but knowing knowing where it ended, all the content that they had to get through, I guess it did a pretty good job.
Sort of, but I would have loved, one example of, who's who, right? Because, you have the Zaft, you have the this, and it's like, okay.
To be fair, for like 10 episodes, I was still, what is Plant?
Yeah.
So, you still would have been you wouldn't have been that far from that thought still.
Yeah. That's something that I think they should have. Just a scene where, like, even a narrator going like, "Oh, this is why." I'm so used to original Gundam going like, "Oh, this is what happened," and there's just land. There's a crash and other shows as well, right? Also because you have multiple factions, right? You have Rebels and you have Blue Galaxy. It is Blue Cosmos, and then you have the
Blue
coordinators.
Cosmos is not something that comes up very much. Blue Cosmos is mentioned one in the episode where Flay is being maybe accused of being Blue Cosmos. Not explained what they are, other than the fact, context clues, you understand, she's anti-coordinator, Blue Cosmos must be anti-coordinator. And then the guys who try to assassinate Waltfield out in the public square identify themselves as Blue Cosmos. That's it. So you don't really get, in the first 21 episodes, what Blue Cosmos is. Specifically, to the point of even thinking that they're a faction of anything.
I mean, they're a faction, or I guess they have to be a faction if they're willing to. People are willing to identify themselves with.
Well,
them,
I mean, in much the same way that the KKK exists inside the United States, you wouldn't say they're a faction. They're just a bunch of people in the United States, right? Orb is just something that gets mentioned once.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I should be describing Orb as anything right now. I should probably just wait till the second movie, because I'm pretty sure I have a notepad where I still just had my original thoughts written down up until like episode 15, which is only like 6 episodes from this, where I still have like plants equals question mark. So, I think I still thought Orb at that point was maybe what the space stations were called, or the the stations were called. Because that makes sense to me. Orbs in space, something. Even though they're not shaped that way. I don't know. I was very confused as well. So I at least appreciate that you had the same confusions that I had, even though you got it in a fast-forwarded format. Some character motivations. The more confusing character motivations are just made more confusing by this, I felt like. That was obviously...
Flay, for example.
Yeah, well, Flay's motivation... I've had questions about for the longest time. Like I said, for me, she goes from infuriating to the most interesting character possible. So,
I mean, it is interesting, but it's still, is she doing it to get revenge? Is she doing it to protect herself?
I think she very specifically says that something, like, there's a line she says here, which makes me believe it has to occur in the same episode that I'm trying to remember. That she's very specifically indicating she's going to work Kira to death to make sure that all of her enemies, or all the enemies of everyone that she actually still cares about, are dead. So that sort of thing. So it feels very much like I'm going to get my revenge, but at the same time, I'm going to make sure you're still able to fight. Like, I'm going to keep you fight capable, whatever means, but you're going to die fighting.
Because he's also a coordinator and he knows that. So I guess he is her enemy as well.
Let's see. We were here. Well, I think. Well, yeah, it must be. If I'm wrong, whatever. I think there's also a missing scene from here involving Sai, Kira, and Flay. Sai is Flay's fiance, but it's like it's their parents arranged it, sort of deal. So Flay is shrugging it off as it was just words. We've never really been that close, and Sai is not taking it that way. He's not like abusive boyfriend not taking it that way. He's like, I'm hurt. Let's talk about this. And she is avoiding him constantly. Like, because the scene where they're in bed together, Sai, before the fight, is talking at her quarters. Like, she has like a thing up over where she would sleep, and he's talking at it, and she's not there. She's fucking Kira. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So he's like, they do the alarm thing. He's like, okay, we'll talk later. And he runs off to the bridge to do his duty. And that's when we go back to Kira getting ready to go out, putting his clothes back on, and see Flay's clothes in the room. It's like, oh, okay. But no, there's a very specific scene where he's chasing Flay down as Flay is looking for Kira. And when Flay gets to Kira, she like jumps behind Kira, to hide from Sai, as though Sai is doing something wrong by trying to ask her to talk to him. And Kira just like, what does he say? Something like, "You look really bad here trying to chase down a woman who doesn't want to talk to you." And like Sai goes up to approach him as they try walking away, puts his hand out to like try and, you know, touch Kira's shoulder, and he like bends his arm behind his back. Because, you know, he gives the indication of, you couldn't do a fucking thing to me, I'm a fucking coordinator. And it just eggs me on at that whole, you don't touch Kira unless Kira wants you to touch him. Yeah. Because he very much gets that, I'm the hero, back the fuck off. It's like, I hate that. I hate Kira.
But at the same time, if she doesn't want to talk to him, then she doesn't want to talk to him.
Yeah, but I mean, this is like a Lifetime movie moment here. Like, I can't blame Sai for any of this shit. She's like manipulating everybody. It's like, you're kind of a villain here. You gotta get your just desserts.
Which why we get reintroduced to the blonde girl here, which was the first girl that Kira wanted to protect, right? Because he faced out, and so yeah, I'm guessing that they're gonna set up a situation where he has to decide between Flay and the blonde girl, and either Flay sets herself straight and, you know, turns, okay, I really care about you and I'm not manipulating, or she reveals that she's just manipulating him, and he's like, okay, well, screw you, I'm gonna go with a girl that actually wants to fight and protect people, you know, as like, you know.
Obviously, I can't weigh in. That's the problem that you're often faced with me. So,
yeah.
One thing though, I would like,
they kill one or the other, so that either Kira gets a boost of like another, let me bust another nut, or oh no, that's so bad, but hey, you're cute and I'm no longer a virgin, so what about that, you know?
I guess one of my benefits is that I did name the channel Stoneface Reaction, so I know at least I'm not giving shit away. One of the things, though, I would like to do is go over the changes that are listed here from the movie, from the episodes of the movie, or at least things that were added or changed in that respect. A brand new 55-second scene showing preparation for the assault on Heliopolis shows more shots of Miguel and new shots of Rusty. So that would be the prep at the very start of the episode. We see everybody in Zaft getting their helmets on. Because apparently Miguel and Rusty get a lot of... I don't even know if they get a lot of... I think Rusty gets his own segment in a manga. Because, you know, they shout, Rusty! It's like, died in episode 1. I don't...
Yeah.
Scenes of Kira and his friends before going off were redone. Which, to be fair, in the episodes, they're shown, like, going around town, driving in cars, things like that. So, I don't really know what the redone here is, because I was just so taken aback by how quickly everything just went by. Oh, there you go. New type flash added when Mu senses Crusette for the first time. There you go. I guess that's what that was.
But now it's coordinators.
Well, this is from the Wikipedia, so they're describing it themselves as a new type. By the way, the Zaft mobile suits are called Jins, the basic ones, Ginn.
Yeah. As opposed to Saku's, right?
Footage of Jins battling with Mobius mobile armors outside of Colony has been removed. So, when I was talking about gun bits, those were the Mobius mobile armors. You didn't get to see them, apparently. So, they were removed. Debut of Kigali is retold, and a new scene of her conversation with Kira with new footage. I don't really recall. It seems... Oh, maybe they didn't talk as much outside of the doctor's door. I don't know. Athrun and Kira's first meeting during the firefight in episode 1 intercuts with scenes when they were kids, instead of being shown slowly with negative colors. Which is what I mentioned there, that they go, like, flashing, like, old school 60s motif when you want to show, like, a nuke has gone off or something. The whole running up of the knife was done in weird, headache-inducing colors. A scene of Flay emerging from the life pod, episode 4, and hugging Kira is redone and retold. Also, a new 30 seconds scene of Sai and Flay conversing has been added. I don't know, that was done so much worse. Because all of those refugees on board the ship are from that life pod that Flay is from. So you have no idea why anyone's there in the movie. And again, you don't get the argument that this is a damaged life pod that Kira has found after the Battle of Heliopolis. Is arguing, it'll just float out here. These people will die if I don't bring it in. And they're like, we can't take more people in. Because after that episode, they also start rationing the food because they start running out of water, too. The scene with Rao and Athrun discussing the strike's pilot is reduced to a 10-second flashback and is inserted into the scene where Athrun is lying and thinking about the loss of Rusty and Miguel. So I guess that's the indication that Athrun isn't telling anybody else that Kira is the pilot. The Archangel's heading to Artemis and the Battle of Artemis footage has been removed, which is what I indicated. Artemis is like Luna 2 if Luna 2 was surrounded by a big old force field. Also, I think the implication is that Artemis gets destroyed because they literally run away from Artemis, and then Zaft hangs around and keeps on fighting. Oh, here's one for you. Athrun's shower scene from episode 8 is lengthened and intercut with scenes of his parents, and the scene following this, the discovery of Lacus' disappearance, is completely redone and moved to be a head of hatch opening sequence of Lacus' life pod. There you go. Athrun's shower scene is lengthened. Well, I mean, they lengthened a male shower scene instead of a female one. Backstory from the first clip show is never told. Because that's good for the movie, right? New 25-second clip of Lacus' trip to the cafeteria on board the Archangel.
Okay. Oh yeah, when she was escaped the room, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And the fight with Flay, you know.
Well, I think the implication from the show, anyway, was that the Haru lockpicks the door, and then I don't think she says it here, but in the show she indicates that she poked her head out and asked if it was okay to leave, and no one was there, so she just kind of starts wandering, and the cafeteria is the first place she wanders to. The scene of Rao and Mu taking the opportunity to attack during the time that Kira is transferring Lacus to Athrun, only for Lacus to order Rao to stand down and withdraw, is removed. Which I told you during the movie, so.
Yeah, it was like, why don't want to take the opportunity to attack now that they don't have the shield, if you will, of her being there?
Well, it was an argument I was having during the time that Lacus has no authority, and then Lacus tells Rao to stand down, and Rao has to obey her, and it's like, well, wait. So she could have said anything while she was on the bridge, while the communications were open to Zaft. She could have said them to stop fighting then. Scene of Kira having sex with Flay is shown cut between Strike's first battle in the desert with additional new footage. I feel like some of the new footage was the sex.
Yeah.
Kigali's bath sequence is changed from a bath to a shower instead, probably for fan service. That's also a note there on the thing. Probably for fan service. Alright, the last one here. The scenes of Durka and Yazik assisting Andrew Waltfield during his final attack on the Archangel have been removed. So yeah, I mentioned that one too.
Yeah.
Well, I said I was going to ask you at the end of this, and it's a harder pick now because you didn't get most of these characterizations, but who do you think was the most you character so far?
Me character?
Well, I've had you drawn as somebody, and I'm assuming based on the sketch that I've already linked in the Discord, you probably couldn't figure out who that is yet. But
No. I actually like the Admiral.
Halberton?
You see, yeah, because he's the few times he's there is like he knows that this kid is a coordinator. He asks him about the parents, like, "Oh, that's interesting that your parents shows." He doesn't show any hatred for him or fear. He's like, "Listen, and I'm glad you're on our side. We got to find a way to end this war, right?" And
Yeah,
he's willing. And
they were saluting and crying when he died.
Yeah. So he doesn't have the baggage a Rebel has, even though I do like Rebel. I know you hate him, but still.
Yeah.
I have to
well,
admit
he's
the
a
Rebel
fucking
does
idiot.
have that baggage as a baggage. And yeah, that will probably be the one. Because Kira, I mean, yeah, he's the main character, but I would actually have to see more of him to see, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get. I like him as a character, even though that ugly cry scene was pretty funny.
Oh, I will say, obviously, I didn't have you drawn as someone who's dead in the very start of the show. And I guess for the audience, in case I don't get this edited out as fast as I would like to, which is to say, by the time I have the art finished for the overlay, I also haven't had you drawn as anybody that any past host here has been drawn as. So you're not Kira, because Griffin was Kira. And you're not Patrick Zala, because Justin was Patrick Zala. Patrick Zala is Atherin's dad, the guy giving the Janus 7 / Bloody Valentine speech about we won't keep fighting no matter how much they try to put us down.
But again, that scene doesn't make any sense because you don't get a sense for who's doing what. Who did the whole
disagree.
Bloody Valentine?
Even in the movie, heavy disagree. We get shown the Bloody Valentine event so much.
But who did it?
At that point, it doesn't even matter for the speech.
Well, it does because it tells you, which,
he's saying that they did it. He's saying that they did it. They being Earth Alliance.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Well, I mean, we had a conversation about it too, but
yeah.
There's no evidence of that. Obviously, you could think it's a false flag or an internal thing, or hey, let's do this terrorist attack, blame it on someone else, and then get the. Oh, my mind is blanked. I can't think of the term I want to use. You use it all the time. It's Stellaris. You play Stellaris?
Yeah, Carl Spelling.
Well, that's
reason for war.
Well, I'm not talking about the reason for war. I'm talking about the very specific. You want to claim a territory? I guess it's just claim. I guess the word.
Yeah.
Now, there's a very specific word that Stellaris uses that when you want to end the war and you want to claim the territory you're going for, the claimed territory has a name, because otherwise you can't just claim anything.
Not an armistice.
Well, no, again, that would be the declaration for the end of the war. I'm talking about the territory itself that you want to claim. Well, anyway, you know what I'm trying to get at here. You would use that to then get that stuff that you want at the end of the war. But anyway, he's giving the speech about Janus 7 and that we can't then end the war so long as they're going to, oppose us or fight against us. Anyway, that's who Patrick Zala is, that guy. And you didn't see him do anything in the episode, even though he does stuff in the first 21 episodes. Lacus's dad. I keep wanting to call him George. His name is Siegel. Siegel Klein. Well, there is a character in the backstory of the show. Again, there's that one episode that I think only happens in the HD remaster, which is the backstory of the world. Like, what are coordinators, where they come from, that sort of thing. Yeah. And there's a character in that named George. For some reason, that's always in my fucking head. His dad is named Siegel Klein. He's sitting right to the left. Sorry, that's a horrible way to describe direction. He's sitting right to the left. He is sitting to the left. Well, technically, he's on the right, by which way Patrick is facing. But camera facing, he's on the left. He's like the only guy in the room not wearing the purple uniform. Is Lacus's dad. He's actually also the leader of the council, so he's technically in charge of Zaft, even though Patrick is giving the speech. And he's very pro-peace, which is why he's sending his daughter off to do the memorial tour of the Janus 7 space wreckage, as it were. Yeah. And all of that. And obviously Patrick is the pro-war guy. But they have, conversations and everything during it, so you would have gotten that.
Either Zaft did it to itself to justify the war, either Earth Alliance did it, thinking that they could preempt, do a preemptive strike and get the war over before it began, right? Or a third party wants this war to happen, either what's the name, Blue Galaxy or someone else,
Cosmos,
right?
Blue Cosmos,
Blue Cosmos, so that they can get rid of the coordinators, have a justification to kill them before they become too strong, I guess. Because if they're inherently better than natural humans, I can understand the fear, the mutant thing of X-Men, but it's like, oh, these guys are superhuman. They're going to rule over us. We're going to be second-class citizens in our own planet or whatever. We got to get rid of them before, it's too late.
Again, it's kind of the thing where that's why I kept making fun of Giran in Universal Century. That Giran is like, we are the future, we are better, we are space noids. It's like, you're just fucking humans, man. And then in this show, we have coordinators who are like fucking Supermen. So it's
faster, stronger, better in every way.
Well, at least that's what
right?
Flay accuses them of being. I think with Kira as our main guy, Kira has only shown the ability to program at super speed. So.
And in hand-to-hand combat, he doesn't get hit unless he wants to get hit, right?
Right.
That means superior reflexes and strength. Well, at least superior reflexes, anyway.
Right. So, yeah. I guess before next time, I'll try to make sure what episode the backstory thing that I keep referring to would have happened in, and if it should happen in a movie, and if it doesn't happen in the movie, I'll bring up what happened in that backstory thing.
Also very interesting. Remember when I said that the blonde girl, I forgot her name, doesn't matter.
Tagali.
Tagali, yeah. She says, "Father, you betrayed us." She seems to be a natural. So she may or may not, she doesn't seem to be Blue Cosmos, right? But only the Gundams can be piloted by coordinators, or maybe
it like I said, Ramus tries to pilot it and she moves it around, she like fights back a little bit, but she's very ineffective. And then, Kira gets into it and then reprograms it and then is the one you see fighting ever since then. We haven't seen a natural in a mobile suit or a Gundam.
Yeah. So why would, unless those computers were designed to offset the effect of the coordinator, it just happens that if you put a coordinator with a computer, right, kind of runs of the learning computer of Gundam, 00079, that, you're even better than that. But maybe he designed it for that, and that's why he handed it over to the Earth Alliance. Hey, you need these weapons because otherwise the coordinators are going to kick our asses, right? And she clearly doesn't like, she's not Blue Cosmos, apparently, but she surely doesn't like coordinators either.
I feel like the thing to consider here is that the place that they came from had Kira, a coordinator, and all of these kids naturals. So,
yeah.
But they're also in a colony in space, which seems to be
the place for the coordinators, mainly.
Yeah, sorry, I was just thinking a moment to make sure I wasn't about to say something the show wouldn't have indicated. Yeah, coordinators are all from space. Zaft is a space organization.
Yeah, I figured as much.
However, the Earth Alliance does have Artemis, which is it's Luna 2, basically.
Yeah.
And at this point, the only thing that's been mentioned about the moon is that there was that military academy that both Kira and Atherin attended.
So, okay, the Admiral, before he died, he said, and something that stuck with my mind is like, both your parents were naturals. But according to the translation, it might be a translation error.
Why'd they make you a coordinator?
Why they make you a coordinator. So is coordinator something that has been done because people are going to space? And in order for them to adapt to space, you tweak people in the womb or something to make them coordinators?
I mean, that would be very specifically handled by the show later, not now. So
yeah, I guess so, because
I'm just saying, you theorize all you want. I'm just saying that I will answer that question when we get to a movie that has it in it.
These are all very interesting questions.
Right? Oh yeah, no, like I said,
but some of them I wish they were answered earlier.
Well,
like
I've mentioned many times. I've mentioned many times that the show does questions that Universal Century asks, at least in earlier in Universal Century where we're at. I feel like this one asks questions and answers them so far. Maybe not here in the early episodes. Better. I feel like it handles things better, which is to say, funny for me, because the first movie encapsulates a bunch of Gundam Seed that I just flat out made fun of. So, this is the part of the show I was not a big fan of. From here on, like, Walt Field is basically the start. His actual name is Walt Feld. I keep calling him Field. I keep adding an I to his name that doesn't exist. Walt Feld is the start of more serious questions, like, when does a war end, right?
Yeah, so I'm looking forward for more, definitely.
Yeah, I wish the movie was better. I wish the movie was better. That's all I can say.
I mean, like I said, you're putting 7 hours into an hour and 20 minutes. That's a lot. You know?
Yeah, there was no way I wasn't going to have a complaint, but it was so fast. Again, this is what D&T would feel like to us if I were Legends of the Galactic Heroes. That was what I meant by D&T. Watching old school Legends of the Galactic Heroes is so fucking slow. Slower than the actual episodes we would have been watching if we watched this. But D&T is like this fast. If we watch D&T after old school Legends of the Galactic Heroes, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? They skipped everything.
Sorry about that. But yeah, you were saying about slow or fast.
No, I said it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I went too fast for you.
Yeah, no, you might have heard that sound and
didn't hear a thing actually, which is weird.
Okay,
because I've been hearing so much like every so often like whoosh noising.
Oh, that must be the
yeah. You know, sometimes you raise your voice and your sensitivity picks up for it, I guess. But whatever. So ironically, didn't hear that though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Any final thoughts here? Anything else you wanna bring up?
Like I said, I'm looking forward to watching it. It is, even if it's supposed to be a remake, a reimagining of the original Gundam. There's enough difference here, especially the fact that the bad guys actually get their hands on Gundams, which reminds me of Stardust Memory, and I'll leave it at that.
Don't you say you're gonna ruin stuff for me? Ironically, here I am trying hard not to spoil you, and you're gonna throw out something from me.
So people.
Well, I was going to say, it leads me back to actually a real quick thought about something you were talking about before. If these things are only able to be piloted by coordinators, why did the coordinator group have to steal them?
Yeah. Maybe they were never meant to be. Well, it just makes me thinking about another thing that comes from UC that we haven't got to.
But you can't tell me.
I can't talk about.
I guess
again.
No. I was about to say I could take my headset off if you want to talk to the audience, but then I remembered, oh wait, I edit these things.
Yeah, so
the chance of me going and accidentally clicking a random spot in the video and hearing you say something. I guess the only other thing though is that you don't get full characterizations here in the movie either.
Yeah.
Because they spend a lot of time developing the characters. Because even Kuzi, all you got from here is that Kuzi's an eavesdropper, right?
Yeah.
To be fair, I think that's all you really get from him in the show. He was a bad example.
Yeah.
Flays, maneuverings, and things like that. You spend a lot more time with Yazik. Not a lot more time. You spend more time than that. Yazik has regrets and things like that. You would have seen his face scar by now. That thing that was covering half of his face. He got hit by the debris. Scars his face. And they even cover the fact he could get that healed. That's not a permanent scar. He's keeping it as a reminder of what Kira did to him. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, 7 hours. What do you cut?
Also, they treat these characters, the kids, as more mature. I mean, we end up with a sex scene with two characters. They also are drawn, some of them more, taller and more mature, especially the girls.
You didn't get to see the opening because we didn't get the opening for this, and the opening literally has, I think, Ramus and Flay. Now, obviously not at the same time, but floating naked in space, but like not full drawn, but energy being.
Doll.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have these shower scenes, which would the only shower scene we got was Char, and he was very like, a guy was taking a shower.
Oh,
right?
we got Athrun shower scene. We got, in this one, we got an Athrun shower scene. We got a Kira shower scene. We got a Kigali shower scene. So 2/3 men, actually. This is pretty good for Gundam.
Apparently a lot of that the audience was whiter, I suppose. So they were giving a lot of more fan service. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's more of a relationship based, but I guess how would you know before you start the show?
I mean, no, but I mean, this is also compilation. It's
compilation. Well, it was.
It was.
They, in fact, added time to those scenes.
Exactly. So, yeah.
What do we cut? I don't know, but I know what we're adding.
Yeah.
More shower scenes, more sex.
Yeah. So more sex and Flay, certainly they put it. Yeah. Frau and Flay. Frau was drawn as being
once again
much younger.
Once again, Frau and is not the opposite to Flay. Or it's not the opposite number. It's Ha and Fra. Ha and Frau. Sorry, it's the name. They still mix up in my head.
But Ha doesn't seem to have the kind of relationship with the hero Kira that Fra has with.
Well, of course not. Amuro needed like someone to be a mom to him. Kira is never shown that way. Even in the show, he's like the time we first meet him was like the very first minute of the episode. He's reading a book and like not a gondola. What are they called? There's a D&D joke about a person not knowing this word, and it's being said
gazebo.
Yeah, gazebo. He's reading like a book in a gazebo, and Birdie flies and lands on his shoulder.
Yeah,
he's just hanging around, and then he goes to school, and then he hangs out with his friends. He's like a personable, normal guy, unlike Amuro, who's like a shut-in.
Hang-ups Amuro has,
Yeah, he doesn't need anybody, is the thing. So he doesn't need that character like Frau isn't necessary for him.
Yeah, but even, what I was saying basically is that the way the kids are drawn more like in Gundam, more like kids. Like, 16-year-old could look older or can look very younger. Here, almost all the kids are drawn a little older too, right?
I feel like this is a conversation I had with Griff at some point. About UC, I mean. Because the kids are either little kids, undeniably
little
toddlers, prepubescent, whatever. Then you have the young adults, right? Which could be anyone, anywhere from like 14 to 22, right?
Yeah.
Is Kai a 20-year-old or is Amuro 16? I'm not asking you for actual facts. I'm just saying visually. Don't answer me. This is not an answer me moment. I don't want to find out Kai's age. Not that that would actually mean anything to me. I'm just saying he looks older because he's taller and lanky. They're just in that spectrum. And then or Bright, I guess, for that matter, kind of fits into the room because Bright, Sayla, and Kai, put them together, kind of the same-ish. And then you have actual adults, which are a bit more grizzled looking, right? Mm-hmm. Except for Matilda. I guess Matilda could be in Bright's age range. I don't know. She's kind of a mix about there. So yeah, you got your 3 tiers of age, which I guess in Seed, we're kind of, I don't know, more evolved in the art style. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but
it's more to the style when it came out, certainly. So I guess, there's that thing where,
it's much more distinct is all I'm saying.
That's it. And also I think they were going for that more, well, not adult, more older teenager audience, right? Instead of being like 12 to 14, more like 15 to 18. 19,
I can't wait to sell those Flay in bed action figures.
Oh, I'm sure somebody else thought about doing something with that. So yeah.
Well, unfortunately, early 2000s, unlikely. More so if there's a fan base. They made the movie last year, so possibly. But the companies that sell those figurines now of all your favorite characters in the most sexualized formats possible.
Yeah, so there's that as well. So, I mean, there is difference enough here. A lot of the stuff was familiar enough, but also different enough I was like, okay, this stands on its own. Which I was kind of afraid that I was just gonna watch a repeat of Gundam. Like, well, what's in this before?
Oh, sorry. I realized I brought something up and I just never went anywhere. I was at the characterizations, and I think I just immediately chopped that off to the speed. That's not what I meant to say. The characterizations here, like, for example, something we skipped over when we didn't go to Artemis, when they're introducing Mu Laflaga to the Artemis people, they instantly recognize his name, and he has the nickname the Hawk of Endymion, because he's essentially Char when it comes to his military backstory, in that he killed some number of battleships at the fight of Endymion, which is like literally number for number the number of battleships Char destroys in the Battle of Loom. So it was always my joke that the characters in Seed are like if you took the Universal Century characters, wrote down their most defining character traits, cut those up into strips of paper, put them in a hat, and just drew 3 of them each for each character. Their characterizations, you'll find that there's people that are kind of like a UC character, but they're only really this one element. That's why I was, when you said, I know who our Char character is, our Char clone is, it's like, well, you might be surprised. Because then they did.
We never see him. Well, yeah, they did. I would say it was like, yeah, he's always on the ship. He never actually goes out in a mobile suit and fights. So that's the first thing a Char clone would do.
Well, actually, he did. I think they showed it here. He goes out and fights at Heliopolis. No, then remember that's when him and Mu Laflaga, they get the new type flash.
Yeah, they both fight, but after that, he's always on the ship. I guess they cut all those parts as well.
Oh, no, I meant specifically he only fought at Heliopolis. I thought you were implying that he doesn't fight at all, because he does, but he actually gets his ass kicked. Like, he goes flying. I think by Kira. Because he kicks Mu's ass, I think, and that he, like, wrecks the Mobius Zero. And then he goes into Heliopolis to fight with everybody else, and then, because when he witnesses Kira firing the beam, he specifically, at least in the show, I don't think he says it here, he says, that's too strong. I can't believe they made a weapon that strong. Because he's like, sort of aghast that Heliopolis gets destroyed. Because that's when we see later that Patrick's giving that speech in front of the council. That's why they're there. They're there to answer for Heliopolis being destroyed, because they're in trouble, too. We can't go around destroying space stations. We fucking live on space stations.
Yeah.
You know?
No Operation British for us.
But, he goes back, like, the arm missing from his Jin, the legs cut off of his Jin. He literally goes flying into his ship and has to get caught by, like, a landing net. Because, he gets fucking owned. So, I mean, I don't think it's implied that he's fighting at, like, full power or anything, or whatever. It's just gets his ass kicked by Kira, who's never flown in a Gundam before. So,
also, the Gundams can fly here. At least he has wings, so he can fly in atmosphere, which is a cool touch. Not unique to this. I've seen it before, but
Well, yeah. Well, most of this 1 through 21 span is in space. Technically, it's from Heliopolis to landing on Earth, because they're being chased by Rao and his ship. Most of the time, you see Zellman die, and you have no fucking idea who the hell Zellman is. Yeah. After Heliopolis, Rao gets called back to answer for that, and that's why they go in front of the council. And while they're back there, the stolen Gundams and everything are on Zellman's ship, and Zellman is chasing after them. So Zellman is the guy up until Rao comes back, and then it's Rao and Zellman. Technically it's Frederick. Rao's in charge of everything, and the captain on his ship is Frederick, who I've often said is like the Dren of this show. So, you have Frederick here and Zellman is chasing them down in the atmosphere in the same way as Halberton's ship. They're not made for atmospheric reentry. They go way too far down, and Yazik and I think Dirk, I got them two mixed up in my head all the time. Not mixed up, too heavily associated. They're upset that Zellman's dead, because the same way that they're saluting and crying, they're like, Zellman! You know, that sort of thing. No one is happy that their commanders are going down and dying.
Yeah, so I am looking forward to. Well, we're going to do another compilation movie, or we're going to jump into the second season. How's that going to be?
No, next after we have just 3 compilation movies. We're going to do one after the other, so we have 2 more compilation movies, and then I'm not actually certain because there is stuff that I'm not certain how it plays out between the seasons, and I'll have to do some research. I got obviously 2 weeks to figure this out.
Yeah.
I know one of them takes place during season 2, which is to say, watch it after season 2.
Yeah.
But there's other things like OVAs and such that I'm not actually certain about, and I didn't do any research ahead of time. And the problem here is, this is going to only be seen by silver tier members on the Patreon.
Okay.
Well, not only. I mean, this is going to be seen by silver tier people on the Patreon, and then like March of next year, bronze tier is going to see it, and then maybe a month after that, YouTube will see it. So we're not going to get any answers, even if I ask the audience. Well, it seems unlikely. People have responded to this before. We do have Patreon. Obviously, people love Gundam on the Patreon. It's one of the reasons why I specifically asked you to join me on this. It's one of our top hitting shows. So kind of want you on board with at least the best of the shows that people want to watch.
Yeah, so that's my take on it. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?